Hi everyone, it's Tammy at Frou-frou Studio. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a make from, I saw it on Pinterest. The only issue is I did not bring my iPad up here, and so I cannot tell you on the video who it is, but I will link it in the description box. And it's a real cute little make. I'm going to alter mine, of course, a little bit from what they did, but I think you're going to be able to get the general idea of what we are doing based on what I do. I'm going to pull my little blue book over here so that we have a smaller focus place because what we're making is fairly small today. The first thing that you're going to want are some pull tabs. Either you want the bigger ones, so you're looking for ones that are probably, these are off soup cans. So you're going to want something that's on soup cans or beans or, you know, bigger ones. Not necessarily what's on like a pop-top drink. You could probably use those, but I have some of those that are like off my husband's Red Bulls, but you can see that this opening is really tiny on those. And we're going to be focusing on this opening, so you want something that's a little bigger. Now, mine I have treated with, let me grab it so I can be sure to give you the correct name. Sorry, I meant to grab it before I started the video and forgot. This is by Finnabar Art, and it's the Rust Effect Paste, and it's the brown one. And these are available, I think, in different colors. But it's basically just like a paint, but it's real gritty. And you just paint it on with the paintbrush and let it dry. So that's what I used. Another option would be to take some grit paste probably and put your grit paste on there. Then you could paint it with like a brown acrylic paint. And I think you'd get about the same effect. But it does make it look pretty authentic. Like it's really been rusted. So that's what I did first and let that dry. I only had 3 of this size, so I'm going to do like 3 different examples to show you. Now, the person that pinned them, what she did is she took little bitty black and white photographs, like Victorian photographs, and put in hers. And since I just did a whole journal on Victorian photographs, I am doing something different. But you could put whatever you want to in here. I have 3 different versions that we're going to do today. And then I'm going to make a tag for the next journal that I am going to do so that you can see what it looks like in a journal. So the first one I had a really small piece of scrapbook paper that had a really small print on it of butterflies. And so this butterfly is a good size. And so I just kind of traced around the inside of this because it's not a total round. and then I cut just outside what I traced so that it would fit in there. So we're going to glue this in here on the back side. Just like that. Okay. Now, I will tell you that she poked a hole in hers right up here at the top. And I don't know if she drilled it or if she had a metal punch or what she did. But I don't have anything to do that. And I don't think it's totally necessary. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I've got two different options. Get this. I'm going to use my 3-in-1 because I think it's going to be the best to hold the paper to the metal. I'm assuming you could also use like your glue gun if you wanted to. Sorry, I'm trying to get my little tip cleaned off there. So if we take this and go along the back side, try not to make too big of a mess. And just glue that in there like that. And then she took, like I said, she drilled a hole. And then she took a jump ring and put in the hole. And then she took a paper clip and put on here so that you could hang it off a page. Like this, if I can. I mean, she had a jump ring, so mine's not going to hang exactly the same. And that way you can just put it on a page and have a cute little embellishment that hangs, you know, out the top of your journal, on the side, which I think is really cute. Now, to add a little bit to mine, I am going to embellish it a little bit further, and I'm going to put this little teeny tiny Tim Holtz filled label tag on here. Just because I thought just the plain butterfly was not enough, because, you know, it's just not. So I'm going to glue that right on there. And then I have, oops. And then I have just a little bitty flower that I thought would look kind of cute on there. So I'm going to glue that on. And there you go. You've got like a really cute little embellishment. And you could, if you wanted to, even tie some string or ribbon or whatever up here at the top. So there's one. Okay, for the next one, kind of the same idea, but instead of this is just a piece of scrapbook paper, just whatever you have that you think looks good down in there. So again, I'm going to glue the paper on. But this time, I'm going to take the flower and put the flower in the center. I know I've said this before, but I have a love-hate relationship with this glue. And then I have this little ladybug, which is from 49 and Market, one of their laser cut sets. If I can pick it up. My wrists are really sore today. I think it's because it's gonna rain. And I'm gonna make it the element that's on the outside. And then for this one, I'm gonna take a bulb pen. And I'm gonna take this little specimen, again, a Tim Holtz thing, and I'm gonna take my little tiny hole punch and poke a hole. Now you could do that with your pokey tool or awl or whatever, but this little bitty hole punch makes a nice neat hole. That's why I like to use it. And then I'm gonna put this on, and then I'm gonna put the ball pen just through the top of this. And now I have one that's really cute, and you could use this one several ways. I thought this would look cute, and I kind of did one just so I could show you. On a tab, you could poke a hole on a tab. And put it on there. Isn't that cute? So there's that one. And I think that's really cute. And again, you could do this with anything. I had also pulled out this one that's a little, like a little bee or some kind of bug. And I had another flower. So you could do, if you're doing a you know, botanical journal or whatever. You could do several of these. Use the butterfly and the bug, and they'd be really cute in your journal. All right, for the last one, we're going way in a different direction. Does that surprise you? And this one I am doing for my tag we're going to make. Wipe this off again. This glue either doesn't come out or it wants to be a volcano. All right, for this one, I'll put my back in there. And this paper I chose because I wanted this color blue. Where's mine? You wipe off that excess. And sorry guys, I'm not meant to put a Band-Aid on my hand. I'm not trying to gross you out with my boo-boo there on the back of my hand. And Trish, thank you for asking about my Band-Aids, but it was just my overzealous puppy dog playing a little rough, and I have what my granny used to call onion skin, and she got me with her claws, and you know, it just caused a bigger looking mess than what it hurt. But I'm on aspirin therapy, and for those of you that are on any kind of aspirin therapy, you know what that's like. It's like if you bump anything, causes that kind of bleeding under the skin. So I don't mean to gross you out, and I apologize, like I said, for not putting a Band-Aid on it. Usually I do before I start filming. This is a glue eraser. I got mine at an art supply store, but I think you can also get them on Amazon. Probably several other places too, for sure art stores. Jerry's Artorama is a great online store if you don't have a local art store. But it will take off, especially this glue. It's really good at taking off your glue if you get it where you don't want it. It just kind of rolls it up in a little ball and makes it easy for you to get off. Alright, so we have that. Now I'm going to take these two little tiny, hopefully, seashells and put in there. I hear my husband starting the mower. He's trying to get it mowed before it rains. Today's a great day to mow because it is actually quite chilly today. It was like in the 50s this morning, so it's not too hot. And we have quite a bit of land that we mow. Takes them about 2 hours on the ride mower, on a big ride mower, like a Ritchie tractor, or what kind of mower is it? John Deere something. So it's a big mower. Okay, so there's my 2 little seashells on there. And then for this one, I have this little private collection specimen. And I think I'm going to do the bulb pen on this one. I think I like the look of the bulb pen more than the paper clip. Like I said, she did the paper clip, but I think you could, I think both have their purpose, and you could very well use both. Okay, let's see if I can get this hole in here without poking a hole through the and then we're going to hang that on there. So now we have one with a couple little seashells on it, and I think that's really cute. So what are we going to do with it? Well, we're going to make a tag for my next journal. So my next journal is going to be, it actually was one of my choices for Junk Journal Madness, one of the 6 that I submitted to Susan. But it's going to be all about the marsh. And I've prepared this tag base, which is just a map that shows a lot of the ocean and the coastal areas. So we're going to start with that, and it's just on, it's one of Tim Holtz. If I could spit out my thoughts, it would be a good day. Tim Holtz heavy duty manila tags that I found in my stash. I didn't think I had any left, but I ran across this one, and I just put this paper on it. And then you can see on the back side it's still just the manila cardstock. Which I think I'll just leave on there. It'll be fine. And then I have this picture, which is from North American Wildlife book. And it is, of course, a brown pelican. For those of you that are new, even though I was born a mountain girl, my dad was in the military, and I spent most of my childhood from the 3rd grade until I graduated high school in Charleston. So even though, the mountains are where my heart is, most of my memories are of the ocean and the marsh. And I love everything about the marsh except for the smell. And my sister loves the smell. But yeah, I don't care for the smell too much. But as far as the wildlife and the look of it, and the memories that it does bring back. You know, when I do smell it, then, you know, I get it. But, yeah, not my favorite smell. But I don't like seafood, which is really strange, as much time as I did spend, you know, being part of that life, the, you know, beachy, coastal kind of life. I don't care a thing for seafood. Alright, so what I have here is I'm going to put my pelican down. So yeah, very much inspired by the wildlife there. If you're not that familiar with the marshes and the coast and things like that, and if you like to read, you might enjoy Where the Crawdads Sing, if you have not read that, or if you have not seen the movie, although the book is a lot more descriptive of the marsh area than the movie is. The author, in my opinion, and I've heard both ways, but in my opinion, and being from that area, her descriptions of the marsh and the coastal area are pretty dead on, and you can almost feel yourself being there, especially where the wildlife is concerned. So if you have not read it, I would definitely suggest it. The movie's not bad either, but the book, like I said, is a lot more descriptive. I'm just gluing this on with a glue stick, and if I find that it's not going to work, which I think it'll be fine, I may run a stitch across there. And of course I'm doing this because it kind of looks like netting in my mind. You know what I might do is I might wrap it around like that and then staple it, because I'm gonna put some twine around it anyway, so the staples won't show, which I don't really care if the staples do show, but in this case they won't. There we go. Now I'm going to take this little twine here and wrap it around. Because this kind of reminds me of the rope, you know, that they wrap around the big logs and things that are on the docks. And I'm going to just tie it in a knot. Kind of like that. Cut that off just a little bit. And then I'm going to take our cool little tab thing that we made, and I'm going to put it right on my little twine. And let it hang down. Isn't that cute? I think it's so cute. And I probably will cover this now that I've made it all ugly on the back with the string and everything. Super cute. I've got another one of those flowers that we could put on there. It's kind of a beachy color too, but we'll hold that for later. And I could put a tab on there if I wanted, or I could just leave it like it is for the moment until I get my journal made. But yeah, I think that turned out really cute. I don't know if I have any stamps. I'll have to look and see if I have a stamp or something that'd go there. Like if I had a compass, which I do, but I think it's too big to go there. Like a rose compass or something beachy. But we can add that later. So yeah. So that, and I have this other tag. That's this first two tags that I have. And this one was made using one of the coin folders that I showed you guys in a relax revisit remake video. So if you want to know about those, you can go and look in that playlist and you'll see where it says coin holders. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. That, like I said, is a pretty simple make, but I think they're really cute. And I will link the person that pinned them, or I don't know if I can link it, because a lot of times those don't have a link that you can get to, but I will at least put the name of the person that pinned it, so that if you want to look those up. There are several different makes when you go to Pinterest for these. If you search pop tops or soup, what did it say, soup pull tabs, there are several makers that have made things with them. So yeah, save your pop tops. And like I said, mine are from soup, like Campbell's soups. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and let me know what you think. And I will be back Sunday, I think. Hopefully with some more ephemera makes for this coming up journal. And until then, everybody have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon. Bye.